Well, the festive season is going on, and it's a high likelihood that you're probably looking for a television. And if you're looking in the budget television range, Xiaomi is one of the most prominent names in this category, as well as they are the largest TV vendor in India, and that has been since the time they launched the first Mi TV in India. Now, their latest version, the Mi TV 5X, which we sort of unboxed and did first impressions of, which if you want to go check out that video, you should click on the tab on the top right and go check that out. But we've been testing this television for about a month, and in this video, we're going to be telling you whether or not, if you're looking for a TV this festive season, the Mi TV 5X should be it. So let's quickly get started. So the Mi TV 5X is still one of the most affordable television ranges available in the market today, but there is a little bit of ambiguity with respect to some of the features and specifications. Let's quickly talk about the price. So there are three variants available: the 43, the 50, and the 55. The 43 is available for 31,999. Whereas the 50-inch is available for 41,999, and the 5X 55-inch is available for 45,999. So if you're looking for a 50-inch television, my recommendation would be to spend the extra 4,000 and pick up the 55-inch because not only do you get a much larger display diagonally, but you're possibly going to get the best panel out of all the lot, and I'll explain that in just a minute. There are also some festive offers and deals on both Xiaomi's own website plus the e-commerce platforms. We'll leave links to the products in the description below. You can go there and check out the offers and discounts and see if any of these televisions suit your need. Also, before we proceed, if you enjoy the content so far, don't forget to smash the like button. The YouTube algorithm apparently likes that a lot. So let's talk about what we've noticed with the television. And this is something that I pointed out in the first impressions as well. Xiaomi is really good at maintaining their patch wall UI, and the latest iteration of patch wall is really flexible. And it also integrates IMDb ratings within the content. So if you're looking through tiles, you can get IMDb ratings for whatever content piece they're highlighting or featuring. And then it also picks up content pieces based on what you've been watching. So if you've been watching, say, Squid Game on Netflix, and the next episode comes out, it'll automatically be highlighted in Patchwall. This is a cool feature for those who don't like going individually into their apps and looking at whether or not a new episode is out, or if you're already keeping up with the trends, you probably don't need this feature. Patchwall also works alongside the standard Android TV. So if you don't like the Patchwall interface, you do have the Android TV interface. The big downside is that this television has very low RAM, and this is something that I pointed out in the unboxing and first impressions video as well, is that 2 GB of RAM eventually on an Android TV starts to slow down, and when you're jumping through applications or when you're just loading menu screens or going into settings, you will see that the television stutters a little bit. If you're just setting your picture settings and if you click reset, it takes about 5 seconds for it to just reset the picture settings, and that shows that the RAM and the overall menu is struggling to keep up with your input. And that is something that Xiaomi really needs to address, possibly in the next iteration. But this is also something that you have to notice with respect to what else is available in the market. Most TVs are within this kind of responsiveness when it comes to the user interface. And if nothing else, the benefit of getting a Mi TV is that you are getting constant software updates, and updates are not only frequent, but they're also patching security errors and all of those things. So that allows you to get the best possible television experience while you are consuming content on this TV. Speaking of content, the panel is HDR10 rated. It also has Dolby Vision. Xiaomi does not disclose brightness. Xiaomi does not disclose the kind of panel it is. We looked at the panel and we figured out that the 55-inch, the one we are testing, is an IPS panel. My understanding is that all 55-inch televisions are going to be IPS panels, whereas 43-inch televisions are going to be VA panels. And you can actually look at this if you walk into like a Xiaomi store and see if the RGB pixels are vertically stacked or horizontally stacked. And if you're buying this television online and you're willing to stretch out your budget, then picking up the 55-inch would be much better. Now, Xiaomi also doesn't disclose the brightness, and this led me to buy some equipment, and I bought a brightness luminance tester, and after calibrating it, we figured out that this display is rated for 300 nits. It on maximum brightness is somewhere around 280 nits on peak white. So that means that when you're looking at content and it's fully white and the brightness is full, you get about 280 nits. Now, considering luminescence, this is not a bad number, and most laptops are around 300 nits. So you know that those are pretty bright. For example, the MacBook that we kept in front of the television was 500 nits. So you could see the difference between the screen and the levels of brightness between the screens. And you can see the difference of 500 nits and 300 nits. So just 200 nits makes a massive difference with respect to brightness. And that also translates to content that you're watching online. So if you're streaming Dolby Vision content, which this television does support, even on peak brightness points, we could only find about 286 nits of brightness, which means that it is somewhere in the 300 nits range, could be slightly less, could be slightly more, but all we were able to measure out was about 280 nits. There's also a massive input lag in this device. So if you're planning on using this as a monitor for a laptop or even a PC, this is not a great display for that because there is massive input lag, and it sort of throws you off if you're trying to use the mouse while on the screen, because your mouse has already reached somewhere, but it's still traveling on the screen, and it'll take a long time for you to get adjusted to that. Which also means that this is not the greatest television for gaming. If you're a casual gamer, if you're playing games on the PlayStation, it should be fine. But if you're somebody who's planning on doing any kind of competitive gaming, even on the PlayStation, there is a considerable amount of lag between your input source and the display output on the television, and that will ruin your game a little bit. Like I said, if you're a casual gamer, if you don't really care about all of those things, then it really doesn't matter whether or not there is input lag, because you will probably not even notice it. The panel also is not the greatest with respect to viewing angles. You can view from about 70 to 80 degrees, but anything beyond that, the picture does start to go down. That being said, if you have this in a big enough room, the television is good enough with respect to its displays that a good amount of people can easily watch the panel. Again, if you've experienced something with much better viewing angles, with much better brightness, you will start to notice the lower end capability of this television panel a little bit. Speaking of the sound, there's also a difference in the sound that is available. So the 43-inch gets 30-watt speakers, which were on previous generation televisions, and they're pretty good. And in most cases, you will not need a sound bar. With the 40-watt speakers on this television, they are really impressive, and there's good amounts of bass and loudness.
Every person standing here in this room is living on the brink of financial ruin. You all have debts that you can't pay off.
One question, if we win, just how much do we get?
There's good amounts of bass and loudness, but it's not the deep home theater-like experience. If you want that, you probably will need to invest in a sound bar or surround sound speakers to get the best experience. This does support a bunch of new devices, and it also has EARC. So if you want to connect a home theater with this, you can easily do that. Another few features this television has includes the ambient light sensor. This is something that I don't personally use, but if you want your TV to adjust its backlight when your brightness goes up or down, the television can do that. It will automatically detect the levels of brightness in your room and adjust the picture for that. The second feature is a far field microphone with the OKG word activation. So you can activate the assistant and access all the features on your television, plus some other features. If you have smart home devices connected, this can act as a hub and basically control your devices. This also does have the Mi Home app now. So if you do have cameras or any of those accessories attached from Xiaomi, you can access them from the Mi Home app, which is pretty cool. So apart from all the shortcomings that I mentioned, this television is pretty good for somebody who's buying a new television, the first television in the house, or if you moved into a new house, you want a new TV. This is good for that. This is good for casual consumption of content. If you're watching Netflix, Amazon Prime, or any other streaming app, this is great for that. Patchwall is good for keeping up with your tabs and the Kardashians if you're into that. And you have access to Android TV as well as a patch wall, so you can choose between those. You have 3 HDMI ports, so you can attach a bunch of things, including a PlayStation, home theater, whatever you want. You do have shortcomings, that is the low brightness levels, the slightly poor viewing angles, and the lack of fast input capabilities of this television. You do have considerable amounts of input lag. So if you do need any of those things in your television, this may not be it. But like I said, if you're getting a new TV, if you are a casual consumer, then this is a pretty good TV, and it is a bang for your buck kind of television because you're getting a good amount of value for the amount of money you're spending. Another thing that I would like to mention before we close down this video is that the remote now has the Netflix and Prime buttons in white. If you have experienced remotes in the past, you would know that white buttons on a remote is not a good idea, especially in India where there's a lot of dust in the air. And unless you're in one of those nice hill station places where the air is really nice, or generally your surroundings are really clean, I think the white buttons was a bad choice, although it does allow you to quickly jump from Netflix to Amazon Prime if that's something that you're into. Well, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done that. This has been Bharat Nagpal. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.